Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you a basic SharePoint site and how to create your first site and add a few what are called web parts or apps onto the page. So out of the box, by default you get a communication site, and I've cleared away the sort of initial bits that you get on the page. So we start off with an empty page. So the first thing we'll want to do is to rename the site and to add our own logo. And to do that, we go to the cog in the top right, which is where you do a lot of the changes of any settings. Click on the cog and then site information. And it's here that we can change the default logo, which is currently the Microsoft one, and we can change the name. So we're going to change the logo first of all, and click on change. That will prompt you to upload your logo. So I've got one here, Acme logo. Click on open, and that uploads it. And then we're going to change the site name from its default, which is just called communication site, to be Acme Sharepoint. You can call it, I guess, whatever you want, but it needs to be relatively descriptive for you and your colleagues to know that they're back at the home site should you want to add sub-sites later on. Click on save, and a few moments later we have now renamed our site Acme Sharepoint and we have our logo. Okay, so that's the first thing to do that most people do on a site. The second thing is to, obviously we want to add some content here. And to do that, initially you might want to create a document library. One of the main uses for SharePoint is as a document repository, and you can do that by clicking here and clicking document library. Now I've already created one, and I've called it main documents, so I won't go through the process, but it literally is typing the name, and if you want any description you can add it there. So I've already added that. So we're now going to, sorry, I'll do that a little bit slower. We're now going to edit the page to embed some of our content that we've added. So to do that, we go here to edit. Now you will need the right permissions, so that's important. But I'm here on as administrator, so I'm able to do what we're trying to do here, which is to add the content. So as we've got a blank page, we first of all need to add and decide the layout of the page. So we can have just a single column, we can have 2 columns, 3 columns, obviously fairly self-explanatory here. So I'm going to go for 1/3 with a right hand column on the side. So that then sets up your 2 areas where you can start putting in your content. So I want to embed a document library, the one I've just created, and to do that, click here, and it lets you choose the relevant, well, not relevant, it lets you choose the various components that you can embed onto a page. So I want to add a document library, and it's going to prompt me for the right one, which I have one called main documents, which has a single folder in it called test folder. And then over here on the right hand side, I could also add other bits and pieces. So various, you can have hero images, group calendars, lists, forms, videos. I was going to say whatever you want, but obviously not whatever you want, but there's a lot of content that you can add into these pages. I'm going to leave it blank for now, just so I can click on republish and show you how it looks once you've changed it. So there is the first bit of content on there. At the moment, any users that are created will have access to that because it is on the home page. So you really need to understand permissions before starting putting anything in there that is perhaps confidential, that you don't want everyone to see. But if you do want to do that, we here at Cineum can help you with that, and can configure what you want. So there you go, a very quick overview of configuring your first SharePoint site.